walk you step by step through I believe is the shortest path to get you your One Combo Club award. No, this is not going to be teaching you all the things like creating a product or how to do e-commerce or how to become an expert or how to write a book or how to do a webinar or how to post on social media or even how to put your face on camera. None of that's necessary because to make your first One Combo Club, you don't need any of those things. In fact, they're all just distractions keeping you from your actual goal. I want to really quickly share with you my story, the very first success I had online, because it was really small, but it was literally the thing that changed everything for me. I had been trying to make money on the internet for a long time. I'd spent almost 18 months going through trainings and trying to build websites and funnels and driving traffic and all sorts of stuff, and nothing worked. Everyone I knew was telling me, like, you're crazy, you should stop, like, why are you doing this, go get a job. The only person that really believed me was my wife. And so she allowed me to keep on trying. And 18 months into it, I finally made my very first sale.
My name's Russell Brunson. I'm Nathan Plone, and we're here from Boise, Idaho to show you how to make potato yam.
What's crazy is that first sale for me was only $20. But the reality was that sale changed everything for me. It was the thing that gave me belief. To know that this thing I've been trying for literally a year and a half of my life, the fact that it actually worked, that there was some stranger on the internet who got their credit card out, typed in the digits, and paid me the $20, that gave me belief that this was real. And because of that, every other success I've had afterwards all was based on that one thing because it gave me belief that this would actually work, not for the other people I saw online, but it worked for me. That $20 changed my life. I believe that this thing, the One Combo Club that I'm going to help you to earn, can change your life as well. And once you hit it, we're going to send you one of these because you deserve something you can hold, a symbol and a reminder that says, I did this. On top of that, you're going to get live coaching, we're going to give you funnel templates, offer frameworks, ClickFunnels access to build your funnel, and support from the entire Funnel Hacker community, which, by the way, is literally the most powerful and supportive community on the entire internet. I've been watching as the economy is changing. AI is coming. People are losing their jobs. So if you're tired of feeling scared or letting someone else control your income and your future, I want you to join us for just 5 short days. Your first $1,000 will not make you rich, but it will give you belief. Belief that this actually works, but more importantly, belief that it'll actually work for you. So with that said, welcome to the One Combo Club Challenge. Now let's go get started and earn your first sale.
What's up, VIPs? Good morning. How are you guys doing today? I was just reading the comments during the video, and it looks like Mario said he got 22 leads so far, which is exciting and scary at the same time. Mary said that she had such a great response from opening the post. The community is going to be the biggest part of this. Anyway, so fun. It's been so great for me and for our team over the last 3 days with you guys to, like, you know, first off, try to deliver the stuff and help you guys through some of these hurdles and things like that to help you be successful. But then on top of it, it's like at nights, like I was here last night till past midnight working on today's presentations and trying to make sure we answer all the questions and get all the stuff in there. Again, this is something like we are doing this in real time with you. We're not just, you know, something that's pre-built. Like we're trying to make this so that it's very unique and custom to exactly what you guys are feeling and the, you know, the positives and negatives, all kind of stuff. And so it's been fun just reading through the questions and the comments and like the results that all you guys are getting. I saw people who were just like, this is the first time that I've ever actually gotten a result. Like I posted this thing and like I had no faith it was going to work, and then it just worked. You know, it's just so cool to start seeing this and seeing the belief grow in you guys. You know, I talk about this a lot, but I always joke that my role here at ClickFunnels is I'm the belief cheerleader, because at first I was like, I have to convince people they can do this, but it's not that. Like it's, and I think it's interesting because, you know, you see people like me who do it, you see people like Catherine or like Stephanie who've done it, and you see those things, but it's always the hardest part's like, but can I do it, right? That's the hardest thing. And so what I found is that my most important role at ClickFunnels is if I can get you to believe this will work, not for me or Stephanie or other people, but that it'll work for you, like that's the win. That's what we're trying to do. And so everything we're doing, putting in this is like giving you the tactics, but getting you to believe that it's actually possible for you. That's why we did that scary challenge on day one. Just like I followed the process and like, oh my gosh, I got a lead. I got 22 leads Mario got. It's fun. So anyway, I appreciate you guys being here, especially for VIP. If you guys enjoyed the VIP session so far, I feel bad for everyone who didn't. That's why I keep pushing VIP so hard to other groups. Like, you guys need to be on these. Like, they've been so good and so unique, and I think really, really valuable. I think it's a really good pre-frame each day as you guys are going into the training to have those pieces, because again, we talked about this day number one. It's like the psychology is the hardest thing. Like, if we can fix our psychology, the tactics and the strategies are easy. And so we've had a lot of fun going through psychology. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Anyway, it's been so much fun for us. And I'm not gonna lie, like, we are tired. We are worn out. We're only halfway. We're not even, day's 3 right now, so we're almost halfway halfway through, but today is going to blow your minds. And today we'll be opening up the Funnel Builder certification program for any of you guys who want to know, like, what's that look like? How do I get in? You'll find out that today, and a bunch of other really cool things. So I'm excited to blow your minds. It's gonna be fun. Okay. So today, what should we talk about today? I was thinking a lot about this last night. I'm like, what's the most valuable thing I can give you guys to help you be successful? And to really give you maybe a reframe of what you're doing, but also so you can see a frame of what I'm doing. A lot of times what I like about my business, is I get to do things and then I get to teach people what I did, right? I remember like when I did the $3.2 million in sales, right after I did an event, showing, let me show you what I just did. And then 2 weeks later, we did an event, 3 weeks later did an event, and we crushed it. And then afterwards, everyone who signed up, we bought it, and I showed them exactly what we did. So it's kind of like I get to show behind the scenes as the Wizard of Oz. Like here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. You guys will learn these skill sets, and you'll have a chance to do them for your own businesses, other people's businesses. But I like it because I have a chance to show what I'm doing. So hopefully this will give you a glimpse at the way that I look at the world, the way I look at creating offers, the way that I look at serving people. Because if you start looking at it through this frame, it's going to help you to get more clients. It's going to help you honestly in all areas of your life. It'll help you in your relationships. It'll help you with your kids, with your spouse, with your employees, with your teams. And so that's kind of the game plan. Maybe you'll get a little bit more today than just marketing knowledge, but something that'll help you in a lot of areas of your life. So I'm going to start off with a principle from my favorite author. A lot of you guys know I'm mildly obsessed with Napoleon Hill. I started collecting Napoleon Hill books 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been scouring the world. In fact, if you haven't seen it, I'll show you guys sometime. We made a little documentary. It's called Bibliomania, which is like a book disease. Someone's obsessed with books, which kind of is me. Side stories. I'm building next door to this building right now. We're building a huge event center and a museum / library. And in the last 3 or 4 years, I've bought, I think we're between 18,000, 20,000 books that I've purchased. And most of them are like first editions and manuscripts and rare things. And so one of the biggest parts of my collection is Napoleon Hill stuff. And so I've been collecting like, the manuscripts, like, anyway, a whole bunch of really, really cool things. And so I've been reading his stuff and studying his stuff. And it's interesting, if you know Napoleon Hill's life, like he got this commission from Andrew Carnegie to go out there and to create the first ever philosophy on personal achievement, right? How does someone become successful? And Carnegie gave him this commission and told him he's going to spend the next 20 years of his life doing this. And then gave him these letters. We took these letters and he went and had a chance to meet with Henry Ford and Edison and all the people that were the most successful during that time. And he had a chance to interview him. And as he's interviewing, he's taking all his interviews and bringing the stuff back. And from that, after interviewing over 500 people, he started seeing this pattern that would show up, right? That all these people had different things, but there was commonalities. Like the most successful people had all these different things, and he called them the laws of success. Like these were the laws of success they all follow to be successful. And each person he interviewed, he picked like 1 or 2 things from it. And he initially wrote this book set called The Law of Success, which is really cool. If you watch the documentary made, I found a pre-first edition copy of Law of Success. It was actually, if you're an author, you write a book, and after you've finished it, you'll print a bunch of copies. They call them galley copies or author copies, and the author will take these and they'll ship them to their friends or PR or publicists or famous people to like get endorsements and stuff like that. And so Napoleon Hill did the same thing. 3 years before he finished The Laws of Success, he had these galley copies. I think it's believed he made 100 or 100. I think the number's like 111. I don't know if that's real, but like 100 copies, and he sent them out to like the President of the United States and Andrew Carnegie and Ford and all the people at the time. And from that, I was able to buy, there's only one complete copy, and it's actually signed by Napoleon Hill. And so if you watch the documentary, I spent $1.5 million buying this like rare book set of him teaching The Law of Success the very first time, 3 years before he published the book. And then fast forward, after he published The Law of Success, years later, he ended up writing another book. You probably heard of it, called Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich was basically, he took, of these 17 laws of success, he took his 13 favorite, and that became Think and Grow Rich. And it was more like the laws of success, but for people who are entrepreneurial, who want to think and grow rich, right? And so again, there's amazing principles in that book. I'm not going to talk about all of them. There's one I want to talk about, because this is what's going to kind of frame out the whole day for today. So the principle that he shares, again, that he saw across all these successful people, the principle is this. It's called going the extra mile. He also sometimes refer to it as rendering more service than you were paid for. Okay. It says he'll describes this as the habit of rendering more service and better service than that which you have been paid for. He says you deliberately give more value than required. You do it before you're rewarded, and you treat the extra service as an investment, not a sacrifice. And so the reward will then later come through promotion, opportunity, influence, ownership, reputation, leverage, and other things like that. But he said that money always follows service. Okay. So the principle is going the extra mile, always doing more than you're paid for. And if you do that long enough, eventually you'll get paid for more than what you actually do. Okay. It's this in-first relationship. And this is where most people struggle, is most people are like, well, you're paying me, they have a job and they're getting paid whatever, say $20 an hour. And it's like, well, this is what you're paying me for. So this is the service I'm going to give you. And they give you what they feel like $20 an hour worth of stuff is, right? It's funny. Sometimes we'll give somebody a promotion, like, hey, we want you to start managing other stuff. I'm like, why do you need a raise? I'm like, why? Because I have new responsibilities. And it's like, no, go do the stuff first. Over deliver first. Render more service than you're paid for first, and then those things will come. It's not like, yeah, if you give me more money, then I'll do that thing. It's like, no, how do you come initially, and how do you always go the extra mile from the very, very beginning? Okay. Inside of first off, just our internal company, and then eventually in the community as a whole, we started using a phrase that I think encompasses it. So the phrase that I use is over deliver. We had t-shirts made one time, so hashtag over deliver. And I want to stress this, this concept of over delivering, or Napoleon Hill say going the extra mile, rendering more service than you're paid for. Over delivery, I believe, is the secret to success in almost all areas of your life. Okay. Think about this with, let's just say your most intimate, most important relationship, right? It could be a spouse, could be a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or whatever it is for you. But the relationship that's the most important to you, it could be a parent, it could be whatever, right? And if you look at, again, I don't know what the numbers are across the world, but in America, I think divorce rates are 60 or 70% right now, right? And you look at when someone falls in love, they get married, the initial attraction, it's like, I love this person, they're so great. And what do you do during the beginning of a relationship? You are over delivering. You're trying to serve them, and you're giving them gifts, and you're telling them you love them, and you're going on dates, and you're investing, and you're always over delivering this relationship. And you're not doing it because you're trying to get something back in return, right? And it's not ever a sacrifice. You're I'm sacrificing this to make them happy, right? Because of the feeling you have, you're so excited. By default, you over deliver all the time, right? And by doing that, the other person over delivers, and you're in this great symbiotic relationship where everybody's over delivering, and so the relationship blossoms and grows. And the problem happens a lot of times is then you get married, which is great, and then you're like, okay, we're married. You're husband, I'm wife. I'm in charge of this. You're in charge of this, and all you start splitting up duties, and it shifts from I'm going to over deliver, and it's not going to be a sacrifice. I'm going to be doing it. What does he say? It's going to be an investment, not as a sacrifice. So now it starts becoming well, you do this, I'll do this, right? And then it's it starts shifting to this thing like that, right? And you look at over time, marriages and things start falling apart because people stop over delivering. They start saying, well, you didn't do this for me, so I'm not going to do this. And they start fighting, and it shifts away from the over delivering, right? If you want to radically transform your relationship right now, the first thing you can do is stop looking at this as I'm sacrificing this. I do this for you, so you should do this for me. As soon as you do that, the entire relationship falls apart. Everything crumbles to the ground, right? Because you're no longer over delivering. You're doing what's in it for me? Okay. The thing that made your relationship work initially is because you were over delivering. You were doing it as an investment, not a sacrifice. All these things he talked about, right? You're deliberately giving more value than is required to get back, right? You're rendering more service and better service than that what you're paid for, right? And so when you go back and you look at your relationship now, if it's struggling, it's man, I am not over delivering. In fact, I'm barely delivering the agreed upon, what the transaction should be like. And so if you shift that and say, how can I over deliver for my spouse? What does that look like? What would I do if I was over delivering and I didn't look at it as a sacrifice? I went and I did the dishes for you. You should be grateful for me, right? Or I did this, or no, I'm going to over deliver because I love this person, because I care about them, because I want to serve them. This is not a sacrifice. This is an obsession. This is because I want this person's life to be great and to be happy, right? If you start doing that in your relationship, what shifts? Everything shifts, right? The dynamic changes. That's what Napoleon Hill is talking about here, right? So you see it in a marriage, you can see it with your kids, you can see it with your employees. In any situation, you should walk in the situation thinking, in where I'm at right now, how do I over deliver? Because if I can over deliver, right, everything else will make sense. Everything else will just figure itself out. Not what do I have to give in exchange for this? Like, what's the ROI on this relationship or on this transaction, this interaction I'm having right now? Like, no. When you're in the situation, always over deliver. Okay. So that's the frame I want to kind of frame today through for you guys is that concept, like over delivering. Okay. And so, again, we talked about doing it in like a relationship. Again, same thing with your employees and that, but now I want to frame it a little bit more different, like now looking at for your customers, okay? And for you guys who are building funnels for other businesses, there's kind of two levels of this, right? Number one is you're thinking about it as the person you're building a funnel for, right? Like if you come into that relationship, you're like, how can I over deliver to the person? How can I blow their mind every single day, right? How can I look at this as an investment? I'm not sacrificing, I'm investing in this person, investing time. You over deliver in that situation, right? Then they're going to want you to be a client forever. They're going to love you. They're going to, they're going to keep doing that thing. And secondarily, it's like, as you are working with your clients, they have customers they're serving, right? It's like, you need to bleed this concept from yourself into what you're doing with them. Like you have to help them to over deliver to their customers, right? If you're helping them build a funnel and launch something and like they're doing the least possible, they're not over delivering, it's probably not going to work very good, right? And your funnel's not going to be good. It's like, how do you, like you got to inspire them to do the same thing. The way you're over delivering for them, you can help them as we're creating these funnels and these offers for your clients, we've got to over deliver every single aspect, every single thing we're doing. Okay. And so that's the first thing I want to frame is just this concept of over delivering. Okay. If you guys understand this and you get it, type in hashtag over deliver in the comments. I want to see it. Make sure that, it's working. Some said my mic's not, some said the mic's good, some said it's not good. Are you guys able to hear me? I'm trying to over deliver. Do I need to talk louder to over deliver better? It's probably because normally like, usually I'm Russell's like hyped up VIP. I'm trying to be more calm and hanging out with you guys. Okay. Awesome. So over delivering. Okay. All right. So now you have this concept over delivering, right? Going the extra mile, doing more than you're paid for. That's where it kind of starts with. Now it's like, okay, we are going to be creating things that we're selling, right? If you are selling something to a consumer, you're going to create what's called an offer. Right? If you're selling something to someone you're going to build a funnel for, you're creating an offer. And so I want to start with first, I want you guys to understand the kind of evolution of how business has grown, okay? Initially, if you rewind back 100 years ago, there were no such thing as offers. There were just products, right? Somebody would create a product, and that's kind of how the world worked, right? And part of it's just because, there wasn't, it was way harder to be an entrepreneur back in the day, right? Like if you wanted to create something, like it was expensive, it was hard, manufacturing, it was just hard. There were less entrepreneurs, right? But the ones who figured things out, they started businesses and they created a product, right? And they would sell the product. And at first, that's how the business, like they create a product, you sell it, and you're the only person selling the product, and it's great. And then what would happen? Then someone saw, someone's having success selling this product. Let's say it's a refrigerator, right? We'll go simple. So whoever invented the refrigerator creates it, starts selling it, and people are like, you can freeze your meat. This is great. I don't have to whatever. And so they're so excited. So they start selling it, and they're making money. It's really, really good. And then other people see that and they're like, they're selling a refrigerator. This is great. I could do that as well. So then they create it, right? Now you have 2 people selling refrigerators, and then 3, then 4, and 5. I'll see there's 10 people selling refrigerators, right? And so now you're competing against all these other people. Now, in a product-based business, the only way to compete is to lower your prices, okay? So this guy's got a fridge for 500, 500, 500, 500. If I'm going to win, people are like, there's 5 fridges, all 500. How do you win? It's like, well, in a commodity-based, product-based business, you gotta lower the price. So then the guy with 500 is like, I'll do it for 450. And all of a sudden he wins. They're like, it's 450, same thing, cheaper. And everyone goes there and start buying. So it gets cheaper, right? And then everyone's like, he's at 450. We're now losing. I'm gonna drop mine to 425. And then drops 425. Everyone starts buying that one. It's like, 425. I'm gonna drop mine to 400. And then 350. And then it starts becoming a race to the bottom. And eventually the profit margin the business had gets smaller, smaller, smaller till it's like almost nothing, right? And that's the problem with a commodity-based or product-based business. Okay, so I'll write this up here. So we've got something you can think about as I'm doing it. So this is a product-based business. Okay, product, and a product can become a commodity, and when you have a commodity, it's always a race to the bottom. Okay, so I never in infinity years want to be in a commodity type business. It's the worst business model in the world because you have to compete with other people who are selling the exact same thing as you, and by doing that, you have to shrink your margins, right? And your margins get smaller, smaller, smaller until you're making literally no money. Okay, but this is how most business is. Like if you look at the traditional business. Like that's what most people are doing. And it's crazy. Okay. Now my mentor, Dan Kennedy, he said a lot of things that blew my mind. But one thing he said one time, he said, Russell, you have to understand there's no advantage of being the second lowest price leader in town, right? So you're selling refrigerators and lowest price guys have 300 and you're 310 and everyone else is 350. He's like, there's no strategic advantage of being the second lowest price leader in town, right? Like if you're Walmart, there's a strategic advantage of being the lowest, but there's no strategic advantage. Like we're a little more expensive than Walmart, but we're less than whatever, right? There's no strategic advantage. But he said, but there's a huge strategic advantage in being the most expensive. Right? So instead of like, how do I lower my price down to the bottom here? How do I increase my price and become the most expensive, right? There's a huge strategic advantage of being the most expensive, okay? And so what happens is to be able to be the most expensive, we have to transition our thinking, right? We can no longer look at our business as a product. Instead, what we have to do is we have to look at our business and what we sell as an offer. Okay. A good example for you guys, a product could be, I'm going to build you a funnel. That's great. Okay. But if there's a whole bunch of people building a funnel, again, now it's, well, he'll do it for 500. I'll do it for 300. I'll for like, that's a battle you never want to get in because you don't want to be the lowest price leader in town. Like it's the worst business. Instead, we want to figure out how to provide the most amount of value. How do we over deliver the most, right? How do we create something that's so valuable that people will spend more for, right? So we do that by transitioning to what's called an offer. Okay. And I'll explain more what an offer is and how we do it. But first, I want to. How do I do this? I have a couple of stories I'll tell you that'll hopefully illustrate this and make this better. Okay. I was speaking at Garrett White has an event called I think it's called WarriorCon. And he wanted me to come teach these men because a lot of these guys had businesses and they're business owners. And he was like, I want you to come and teach these guys some business stuff. And so I was like, what can I teach people? So I decided to use this framework I have called Hook Story Offer, but I want to spend more time on the offer. And so I was trying to explain this and I was like, hey, I want to show you guys the power of an offer. I'm like, okay. And at the time I had just bought my brand new iPhone from Best Buy or I don't know, wherever I got it from, right? I think I paid $500 for it. And so I pulled it out of my pocket. I said, hey, I just bought this brand new iPhone. It was $500 and I'm going to sell it today. Someone's going to buy my phone. I'm like, who here will give me $500 for this phone? And like half the hands went up, so I was like, cool. And I'm like, how many of you guys would give it, if I sold this for like $400, $300, right? And eventually I got a bunch of people like, yeah, I'd buy it. And I was like, interesting. And I was like, who here paid me $1,000 for this phone? And nobody, like, everyone's like, no. And I'm like, why not? And I said, oh, because this is a product, it's a commodity, right? They're everywhere. And maybe I'll give you a little bit of a discount. You can get cheaper for me than going to Best Buy. But like, for the most part, it's a commodity. And I was like, I want to show you how I can turn this phone instantly into an offer. I said, okay, let me tell you what's on this phone. And I opened it up. I said, okay, on this phone, I said, over the last, 20 years of my career, every time I buy a course from somebody, I take the course and I digitalize it and I put it on my phone. And I open up the app and I show it like, here's every single course on business, personal development, mindset, sales, marketing, like all these kind of things. I was scrolling through. I said, I asked my accountant before I came how much I've spent on courses over the last 20 years. And the number came back, I think it was like $750,000. So like, there's literally $750,000 in courses that are on this phone today. Okay. So that's the first thing. So again, I'm showing him my phone. I'll draw this because it looks like a phone, even though I know the new phones don't have that button anymore. I guess they haven't for like 10 years. But anyway, there's my iPhone, right? And I was like, hey, so the first thing is like, I've got whatever, there's like $750,000 worth of courses, right? And then I was like, hey, over the last 20 years, I built up a big network of really cool, really famous people. And I opened my address book. I'm like, for example, here's like Tony Robbins' phone number. Here's Damon Johns. And I was going through all these different people and everything. I was like, there's my Rolodex. I spent 20 years. So if you have my phone, you also have access to my Rolodex, which has made me, hundreds of millions of dollars. So you get my Rolodex. And in fact, when you have my phone, I'll even pre-text him and be like, hey, Tony Robbins, this is so-and-so. Like, he's one of my cool friends. You should get to know him. So I'll intro anybody you want here. That way you've got a connection point. It's not just me, whatever. So that's the next is intro to my Rolodex. Number 3, there's this really cool app called Voxer. It's like a walkie-talkie. And for my clients who pay me $100,000 a year, I give them access to this walkie-talkie. And if they have a question, they can ask me a question. So I'm going to give you access to Voxer, and I'll give you my private line. And then when you have a question or anything about anything, you just message me wherever you want, and I'll just answer your thing. Again, normally people pay $100,000 a year for that, but it's on my phone, so you have it for free as well. And then and I kept going through thing after thing, all these different apps on my phone. And I was like, okay, so that's everything on my phone. If you get my phone, like you have it, you have access to all that stuff as well. Now I'm going to open up an auction. Who here wants my phone? And everybody's hands go up. I'm like, sweet. We'll start the bidding at $10,000. Who would pay $10,000? And almost everyone's hands stood up. I'm like, okay. Who would pay $15,000? Who would pay $20,000? Who would pay $30,000? Who would pay $50,000? Right? Some hands start dropping. I'm like, I'm like, if you keep your hand up, someone's going to get this. So don't keep your hand up unless you're really willing to buy this. Okay. I'm like, keep going. I'm like 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, a couple more hands down, but there's still a bunch of people. I'm like 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, more hands drop and show up. I get all the way up to get 500,000 and there's 2 people still the hands up. I'm like, are you guys sure about this? I was like, cause someone's going to write me a check for $500,000 right now. And keep your hands up. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. I'm like, come on stage. Come on. I got to figure this out. So I have him come on stage with me and I have a mic and I was like, I'm curious. I tried to sell this phone 3 minutes ago. I got down to like $200 and nobody wanted this phone, right? Or I tried to sell for $800, whatever it was, like $800 tried to sell it. Nobody wanted this phone. And now you're willing to pay $500,000 for this phone. Why would you do that? And I hand the guy the mic and he grabs, he's like, well, after you showed me all the stuff on there, it seems cheap. $500,000 seemed inexpensive based on the value he got inside of the offer. Okay, so that's the magic question. That's the thing you got to think through. How do I make someone an offer that's so good that when someone sees it, it feels inexpensive, it feels cheap? Okay, this is the secret. This is how we over deliver to our clients and get them to say yes. And they're so excited because we change this from a commodity and we create an offer. Yeah, there's I don't know, 1 billion iPhones you could buy on the market. There's only one phone that looks like mine. My offer is unique. Nobody else can have it. Okay. There's no like race to the bottom. No one's gonna be like, well, I'll give you Russell's phone. You can't, it's only one. There's only one, right? So you can't do a race to the bottom. And so now it's premium. It's the most expensive thing in the world because of that, right? Because I created an offer, I increased the value of it. Okay. It's interesting. Whenever you sell something, especially you start getting high ticket, you want to charge someone $5,000 or $10,000 or $30,000 or $100,000, right? The question is like, hey, will you buy this thing for $100,000? A lot of you guys are like, I can't afford that. And it's funny because I'm like, oh, you can't afford that. I'm like, will you buy for $10,000? Oh, I can't afford that. Okay. Now, when someone says I can't afford that, they're not actually telling the truth. They're lying. Just so you're fully aware, okay? Anytime someone gives you an excuse they can't afford it, they are lying, okay? What they mean is that they don't see the value in it. It doesn't seem cheap enough, right? So, for example, if I came to you and I was like, hey, I got this course, it's $10,000, will you buy it? You might be like, oh, I can't afford that. But if I came to you, I'm like, hey, I have a brand new Ferrari. It's insane. It's brand new, just off the lot. It's got like 200 miles on it. That's it. I will sell you this Ferrari for $10,000. What would you say? You're like, I'll take it. Why would you do that? Because you know the value of the offer. Like that's such a huge over delivery. You'd be like, I will figure out how to get $10,000 because I know that car's worth $2 million. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. I know that car's worth $1 million, right? And you're selling for $10,000. That seems cheap. I'll figure out how in the world to get that money because it seems cheap. It seems inexpensive. Does that make sense? So if you come to someone, hey, buy my course for $10,000, like, I can't afford it. I don't have the money. It's not true. Okay. It's that they don't see the value in their mind. It's not worth $10,000. Therefore they will not buy it. Okay. So if you want to be successful in this, when you are, packaging and positioning what you are doing as an offer and you're going to somebody and you're going to sell it to somebody, if you're like, hey, I'll build a funnel for $5,000, like, I can't afford it. It's like, it means I didn't provide enough value. My offer was not good enough. That's the only reason. If I try to sell a course, someone's like, I can't afford that. Okay. It's not that they couldn't afford it. It means they didn't see the value. Anytime you think about it, when someone's like, I can't afford it, think about the $10,000 Ferrari. If you pitch that same person $10,000 for a Ferrari, could they get the money? Yes. They would go sell a kidney. They'd go borrow from their friends. They would go get a loan. They would sell stuff at their house. They would figure out a way to do it because they know that $10,000 is going to make them way more, right? Because they can go sell the Ferrari. They have like whatever it might, because they know the value. Okay. So that's what you have to understand. So whenever we're doing anything in business, the question is like, what do we do to increase the perceived value of the thing? Okay. We shifted from being a product to an offer. Okay. A product usually is like, it's like one thing. An offer is like, maybe the offer is like, because think about this with my phone, right? The first thing in my value stack was the phone, right? So it's the same thing over here. It's this phone, okay? It's the phone, right? And so both of these, come on, whiteboard. This is the phone. This is the phone. Those things cost the same amount of money, but then everything else I add in the offer increases the value, increases the value, increases. I'm over delivering, right? And so it makes the perceived value of this phone dramatically go up. Okay. The first time I had a chance to teach this, or maybe not the first time, but one of my favorite times, we did a young entrepreneur event called Unlock the Secrets. And I was trying to teach this concept to the kids. So I brought them on stage and I was showing them, I was explaining this concept to everything. And all these kids had their own businesses. And so I went back and I said, okay, for your business, I want you to figure out an offer stack. Okay. And so they all went there and did that. And I had, I think 5 or 6 kids come up on stage. And there was one girl, Ryan Lee's daughter, I think her name's Kiana. She was awesome. And I think at the time she was like, I don't know, 13 years old or something. And I had her come on stage. And I said, okay, what's your business? And she's like, I'm a babysitter. I said, oh. And at first I said, babysitting is a very commoditized business, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, how much do you charge an hour to babysit? She's like, well, I was charging $10 an hour. You know, that's kind of what everyone, like all the babysitters charge $10 an hour, whatever it is, right? So all of them at the same price. Like that's the product. And I said, okay, so based on what you learned now about creating an offer, what does this look differently? What's the offer you would create to babysit my kids? I was like, I got 5 of my kids here right now. I want you to babysit tonight, pitch me on why they should babysit. And she's like, well, she's like, the first thing is that if I babysit your kids, the first thing is know is that we're not going to be sitting around watching movies all day long and rotting their brains. Okay, I show up with games and coloring books and activities. So the first hour every single day of every single babysitting, we come in and we do activities for 60 minutes, and it's amazing because it stimulates their brain. It's fun. We get to know them and they're excited. Okay, after that, I take them out and we go on a run and we walk around and we do some exercise outside. So the second hour is exercise. After they come back and I feed them, I don't just buy McDonald's stuff. I actually make a meal. This is the meal I like to prepare because it's healthy, but the kids also love it. It's really, really cool. After I create dessert, but we actually do dessert together, and it's a really fun experience. We do dessert. Then after dessert, I have a guarantee. I always clean up the dishes and clean the kitchen, so the kitchen will be completely clean. It'll all be done. And then I make sure the last thing is the kids are in bed before you get home. I want to make sure they are in bed and they're asleep before you get home. So that way you don't have to worry about kids when you show up. And by doing that, we have a bedtime routine where we brush their teeth. I read them each a book, and then the whole thing, right? And she's like, and I charge $50 an hour to babysit. And I was like, where do I send you money? This is insane, okay? Because most babysitters, what do you get? You show up, you drop them off, you show up, and like they ate food, there's junk everywhere, the kids are still awake, and you're just like, oh, and you gotta come home, clean it up, and And I was like, that is an insanely good offer. I'm like, you could go and like, there's 50 girls who are all doing babysitting $10 an hour. You charge $50 an hour, and you would get the lion's share of the clients. Why? Because you created an offer. The perceived value is so much higher. You guys getting this? You guys seen how this works? Yeah, Lauren said, she can babysit for me. Okay, this is the key, you guys. In every single thing, it's learning how to shift it from a product to an offer. How do you over-deliver? How do you increase the perceived value? What are the other intangible things you can do to increase the perceived value? Like when you start learning how to do that, that's when like you can write your own paycheck forever. Okay. Obviously, the first phase of this for you guys as funnel builders is learning how to do that when you are building a funnel for somebody. Because there's going to be a lot of people like, hey, I can build you a funnel. So for you, it's like, okay, that's a product. I don't want this to be a race to the bottom. How do I decommoditize it? How do I turn it from a product into an offer, right? How do I over-deliver? So what are the other things you can offer, okay? And maybe you don't have any skill sets yet, and that's part of what we're doing, right? We're trying to give you guys more and more skill sets. Like I can build a funnel. I can design the funnel. I can write emails for you. I can do this. I can do this. In fact, tomorrow's AI day. You're going to freak out. There's 3 or 4 tools I'm going to give you guys during AI day. Each one of these is like something you can add to your offer stack to make you more valuable as a funnel builder. I want to ruin the surprise, but I don't want to ruin it. I'll ruin one of them. One of the surprises is this really cool AI tool we built for all the funnel builders. And basically what happens is like, let's say you get someone to sign up for to do a book funnel with you, or a webinar funnel, or a challenge funnel. Like this challenge funnel you guys are in right now, just, like you've probably seen a lot of it. There's a whole bunch of sequences based on who you are, VIP, not VIP, this, that, like there's a million different things. Okay. The email, the entire communication sequence for this challenge is 101 messages between emails and texts. And it's like, that's a lot, right? So you can build a funnel for somebody, but what if you're like, hey, for this funnel, this challenge will be successful, there's a lot of emails and sequences and show-ups and replays and all kind of stuff. I'll write that entire sequence for you. And then you're like, I got to write 101 email sequence, which is a nightmare, right? But guess what? The sequence that we did for this campaign, AI wrote it. And so what we did is we came in and we explained and so the tool that we're going to give all the funnel builders, everyone who's certified, is this really cool tool. You log in, you're like, challenge funnel, book funnel, whatever it is. And it's like, here's all the sequences you need for this funnel to be successful. And you click on a button, you fill out the form, and then boom, it'll pop out the entire email sequence. And you can go to ClickFunnels and put it in for them. But now it's like, that just increased your value as a funnel builder. Like, I'm gonna do your funnel and I'll do your emails, right? Or I wanna do funnel, your emails and your ads. Or maybe I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do split tests for you. I'm gonna do A/B split tests. Like, there's a million things you can do to increase the perceived value of what you're doing, where you can charge way more than anybody else, right? If you look at what the funnel builder is charging $100 versus the funnel builder charging $100,000, what's the difference? $100,000 person is over delivering a higher level, where the client is looking at saying, this feels inexpensive. Like all the value I'm getting, it feels cheap. Okay. It's the reason why you come back to Napoleon Hill's whole message, right? Going the extra mile, right? When you go the extra mile first, right? Where you deliberately give more value than it's required, where you're looking at it as an investment, not a sacrifice. You're investing, you're doing all this kind of stuff. Eventually someone looks at you like, you are insane. How can I pay you more? I don't want to lose you. Like, this is important. Like, I need you to be part of this, right? Because you're giving so much more value than they're getting. You're over delivering every situation. And people are like, this is great. Like, I can't lose this. If I lose this, like, what am I going to do? Okay. And it's the same thing here as you start over delivering and learn how to increase your offers and make things better and better and better. Okay. So that's the game plan. Is that helpful, you guys? Is it helpful to start thinking about this? Yeah, let's go. Hashtag over deliver. Very cool. So last night, just again, pure transparency. Last night I was working on the offer for those who want to become certified partners. I was here till midnight. And the reason why is I was looking at this, like, I'm like, okay, how do I make this offer so good that everybody would have to say yes? Right. But also, like, we got to charge enough that we can support it and we can do it. Like, it doesn't bankrupt ClickFunnels to do this, right? Like, how do we charge enough that it covers what we need to be able to fulfill and serve the client? And then how do we provide so much value that when you look at it, you're just like that's like a $10,000 Ferrari. I'd be insane to say no to that, right? I know that if I can figure out how to get $10,000 to buy a Ferrari, like, I can figure out a way. It's not that hard, right? If you need to get $10,000 to buy $1 million Ferrari, you will figure out how to do it. I want the same realization. When I make an offer for you, that you're like, this is a $10,000 Ferrari. Like, I have to figure out how to get this money. Okay. So you're gonna find out today. Maybe I did it. Maybe I didn't. We'll find out. But that was my whole thing last night. Just like, how do I make this offer feel like a $10,000 Ferrari where someone would be so stupid to say no because it's such a good offer. Like, and they can see the path, they can understand it, and they can feel so comfortable and confident throughout the whole thing. So if nothing else, watch it just so you can see how I structure an offer to make it feel that way. And then for you to start thinking, okay, I'm going to be going and getting funnel building clients. Initially, I'm probably going to be selling a product. I'm selling a funnel. But over time, as I get better, what can I add to this? What skill sets can I learn to make this more valuable? To go from me just selling a phone or a funnel to somebody two people being willing to give me $500,000 for the exact same phone they could buy at Best Buy for $800, right? Like, that's the magic. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today. Again, for a couple levels. First off, understanding this concept of over delivering. And I hope that you felt this way from this challenge. You've been hearing this challenge now for 2.5 days now. I've tried to over deliver because, again, I want you having such a good experience. Like, man, this is what I got from Russell from a free challenge and from a VIP that technically was free. I'm getting 14 days of ClickFunnels for free. Like, man, they're over delivering in so many different ways. They're training us how to use it. Again, the tips, the mindset, the understanding. Like, my goal is that by the time this challenge is done, like, you're so much like, God, these guys over delivered at everything. Is this how they work as a company? And like, yeah, this is why we've had so many success stories, right? This is why so many people use ClickFunnels. It's why we are the industry leaders, because we over deliver every aspect, right? People always ask me, Russell, how do you get 5,000 people to a Funnel Hacking Live event? I'm doing events, I can barely get 200 people to show up. I'm like, well, when you come to a Funnel Hacking Live event, it's different. Right? An event's a commodity. Everyone's got an event. When you come to Funnel Hacking Live, it's different. Why is Funnel Hacking Live different? Because it's not a commodity. It's an offer. Like, we are increasing the value. We're over delivering at every single step, every situation when you check in, to like in the rooms, to like the events, to the pre, the post, every single aspect we're over delivering. Like, that's like the lens we look at everything through, is how do we over deliver in this situation, this situation. If you just look at this, you guys, in like a frame for your life, every interaction you have with somebody, again, your spouse, your kids, your employees, your customers, your potential customers, if you start looking at that lens of like, how do I over deliver in this situation? Okay. And be careful, because what a lot of you guys are going to want to do, this is like a default. So our human brain wants us to do. The default is to flip this and be like, I'm going to sacrifice for this person so I get something in return. I see it all the time. I see myself do sometimes in my own relationship. Like, I'm going to take the garbage out and Colette's going to be so impressed with me that maybe she'll whatever, right? Like that's my team's laughing in the background. Yeah. It happens for all of us, right? It's like over delivering because you love the person, not hoping to get something back in return, right? When you start looking at it through that lens, where you're like, this is an investment in our future. Like, I'm looking at this 5-day challenge as an investment in you guys, in the future that we could have together. And I know that not all of you guys are going to stay with ClickFunnels. Not all of you guys are going to become funnel builders. Not all of you guys are going to stay here, right? But if I invest in this right now, right, maybe the next thing comes out makes more sense for you. Who knows? Like, I've had people who, they join ClickFunnels. Oh, we had I think Carson said this during the interview with him. His mom bought ClickFunnels 2014, the first year we launched, and the account went stagnant. And like then 6 years later, her son came back, and now he's building funnels and a funnel builder, certified, and all these things, right? And it's like because we over delivered at that point, and maybe it didn't make sense at that point. Later on, she remembered that she brought her kids back and other people back, right? And so it's coming back, like not trying to look for like how do I get something out of the situation. It's coming back saying, okay, I'm going to do what Napoleon Hill said. I'm going to go the extra mile. I'm going to render more service than I was paid for. I'm going to do it as an investment, not a sacrifice. And by doing that, because I literally care for the person, I really literally love that person, I literally want them to be successful, I'm looking at it through that lens, then all these other things come back, right? So again, I look at this whole challenge for us has been me trying to over deliver to build this relationship. So in the future, you'll want to keep working this because you're like, man, this is what they do for free. Can you imagine what happens if I invest? And then when you come in and invest, it's like, we're going to over deliver. People tell us all the time, they're like, I thought what we were buying was a course, but like we got these people, you guys will have a chance to meet Greg, Miguel, all these people like who are there every day, literally answering questions, doing stuff with you, like, helping you on the pitches and the things, like helping you build funnels and fixing your, like just the level of over delivering that happens on the other side of this is insane too. And like each tier, each step, all the way up through everything we do inside of our business is that way. And if you can adopt that same mindset, it'll change your relationships. It'll change your relationship with your employees, your teams, your customers. It'll help you get funnel building clients easier. It'll help you to grow your business. It'll help you to help them to make offers the correct way, right? And everything else will shift because of that. So that's what I want to share with you guys today. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, Leah said, Miguel and Greg rock. The team is insane. Yeah, Greg and Miguel are amazing. We have a lot of our funnel builders here in VIP with us. So for all of our people that are certified funnel builders who are here, just drop in the comments real quick, like your thoughts about the program. It could be like one sentence, like how's it been for you? How's the experience been so far? Have we over delivered at every step along the way, hopefully? And if not, if we messed up, did we fix it? Because sometimes we mess up, right? Molly said it changed my life. PJ said it's a great program. Such an amazing community that helps us. It helps you keep on going. Now they're going too fast. Okay, all our funnel builders jumping in. Kelly said FBCC is amazing. Thank you, Angela. I love my teaching style. I appreciate that. Okay, comments are going too fast. Dan said best program ever. So again, you notice like the way you get raving fans, raising customers, it's like you over deliver every step. So we're over delivering this event. Those who are certified, we continue to over deliver, right? And we keep doing that all through everything. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. 28 years of trucking, and I'm now a full-time certified funnel builder. Heck yeah, Michael, congratulations. So cool. Very cool. Oh man, so awesome. Okay, well, we're getting started here in about 15 minutes, you guys. We're going to wrap the VIP session for today. Today's session is going to be insane. Catherine's going to be back. She's going to be sharing you guys like the path and the timeline. We talked about going from 1 comma to 2 commas, and she's going to show you guys, here's the actual roadmap. Here's the milestones. Here's what you do, how you do it, the order you do it to get from here to there, how to go from charging, $300 a page up to charging $25,000 for a funnel. She's going to walk you through the whole thing. It's amazing. Also, we got another guest coming on. She is the queen of teaching people who don't like to sell how to get other people to give them money. Okay. So not how to sell, but how to get people to give you money for things like this. Okay. I told you guys the story yesterday. She did this process to me. I didn't know she was selling me, and she closed me for $200,000. High ticket thing. And why? The way she structured it. At the end of the day, I was like, this feels inexpensive. And so I gave her $200,000. So you're going to learn exactly what she did, how she did all kinds of stuff, and a bunch of other really cool things. So that's what's happening here. Again, we'll take a break right now from VIP. We will be back in 15 minutes for the general session. Cannot wait to hang out with you guys. And with that said, I appreciate you all. Have a great little 15-minute break, and we'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Thanks, everybody.